So, talk me through what's got you started with photography. Was it a spark, or was it just a general interest from something you've seen?
So I've always been into photography, and I feel like it runs in my family. My dad was always into photography, and then I remember the first time I got a camera from him, but just to hold, not as a gift, was when I was like 5 years old, but then it got taken away straight away. And then I've got this picture from my childhood when I still have this picture somewhere. I need to find it when I'm just trying to reach for that camera, and it's not even that camera was used to take the photo. And what I was trying to reach was that, that little bag that the camera was in. So, and I believe I was 5 years old, right? So I believe that that was the camera. So I was just trying to reach it. And then, yeah, my dad took the photo, and then he thought it was very funny. And then it's just like, I don't know, there was always that element of photography. And I think when I was in secondary school, I got absolutely obsessed because I saw somewhere a DSLR camera with that massive lens, like 200 millimeters. And I was like, oh my God, I was obsessed with birds as well and animals. I was like, oh my God, imagine using that camera to take a picture of a bird. And I got absolutely obsessed. And then my mom surprised me with that very camera that I wanted, with that lens. It wasn't for my birthday, it was just like random occasion. And then I still have this camera. I've had it for 15 years and I don't use it anymore. I've got a new one, new model. But yeah, I think that first camera taking pictures of birds was kind of got me started. Then I started involving some of my friends, asking them, oh, do you want a photo shoot? They looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, yeah, let's just do some makeup. Let's do nice outfits. Go like take pictures in the hay, because I was I lived in the countryside. So taking pictures in the hay was just kind of, popular. So yeah, and then I came to London because originally I'm from Poland. Came to London, and then I had a break for a few years. But then when I met my partner, he kept saying, "Oh yeah, you were into photography, but you just stopped taking pictures. What happened?" And then I started a food blog, and that was a bit of an excuse for me to get a better camera, which I did, obviously. And the food blog didn't work out. I didn't become the new Deliciously Ella, unfortunately. However, I still have the camera, and now I'm taking pictures of people. So it's a bit of a long story here.
So, why did you start with food when your partner encouraged you to go back to photography, and what made you stop in the first place as well?
When I moved, I stopped when I moved to London, and so I had brought my camera here with me, the old one, but I feel like I choked on all of the new things in London. Coming from a small countryside in Poland, I just wanted to experience everything. Also, I worked a lot because I worked in restaurants and I started uni, so I didn't really have the time or energy to do it. If whoever ever worked in a restaurant, they know that for those 2 days that you've got off, if you can afford having 2 days off in a week, for those 2 days that you've got off, you just vegetate, you don't do anything with your life because you're just so tired. So I think that was the massive factor of why I just didn't really get into photography then. And then I had an episode of anxiety, and I had a great friend then, and my former landlady, who was very much into healthy living, and she started offering me, like, lending me all the books that she could find on healthy living. And I started, that was my first craze, with like zero UPF diet and all that, so like all healthy, vegetarian preferably. So then I thought that I would want to start my food blog, and I did. So I started doing that, just creating recipes, vegan recipes. That was that vegan craze. And then I would just start taking pictures of it. So obviously I think having a new camera, I didn't really need it, but I convinced myself that I needed it because I really wanted a new camera, and that's why I got it. And then I just started taking pictures of food and then everything that I could just really see on my way.
What kind of food were you taking pictures of? Because you said about vegan foods, but was it desserts, was it starters, was it main meals?
So it's just so it was all the recipes that I made. So I would just try to make anything possible, but a vegan version of it. So like a vegan tiramisu or a mug cake or like salads, curries, pizzas, and all that. So just trying to make it healthier. And yeah, so I got these little backdrops that I put on the floor and they look like marble. So that made the pictures look like they were taken in a nice marble kind of white bright kitchen, even though I was flat sharing and my flat was nice, but it wasn't marble. So yeah, so I was just like, using all of these different props. And I think that creative part to it as well was really cool, because that's when I started getting photography softwares to edit my photos, for light contrast and all that. And that was really fun. So I really enjoyed it.
So, what made you transition from that to women's photography? Was it because your food blog failed, or was it because you still wanted to do the photography, but you figured better try something else? Or did someone come to you and say, "Hey, I need a portrait. Let's start this," or something?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I was always quite reluctant to taking pictures of people. I think I was quite scared of, like, because it's not only about taking a photo, it's about being able to lead the people we're taking pictures of, the models, like being able to tell them how to position themselves in a way that they makes them look better, so it's all of the getting the studio or finding a place and getting the outfit right and the makeup and then editing it. So I felt like I think I just, my confidence wasn't there. But with the blog, it didn't work out. I think so what happened was that I went on to doing my postgraduate degree, and I just didn't have the time. But it was the moment when I started getting offers from people like, food brands, who were offering me to cook with their ingredients and then just take pictures, some sort of like influencing sort of jobs. Obviously, I wouldn't have got paid for them, but it's just more of a barter sort of collaboration, that will give you the products, you eat them, and then you just like post a picture. So for me, it was some sort of exposure, but I just didn't have the time to do it anymore, because of uni, and I also worked full time at the same time, so I just didn't have the time to do it. And then it actually started about, I would always take pictures along the way of my friends, right? But it started properly last year, when my partner's sister was getting married in July. And she asked, and I was in Paris. So I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And then she asked me if I would take pictures for them. And I'm like, okay, but like, I have no experience in weddings. So that's a bit, you're risking here a bit. But then she said, as long as I have one photo, she was very relaxed. As long as I have one photo, I'm happy with that. So then I was like, okay, but not to look like a complete, moron. What I did, I offered someone else somewhere in May. I offered someone else photography for free during their wedding. So then I would practice and see, because there was a complete zero experience. So I was like, I need to see if I can actually take a good photo of a person, in a wedding setting, because wedding settings are quite stressful. Obviously, you want everything to be perfect. You want the bride to look amazing. And obviously, the lighting is different, because if you start taking pictures in the morning, the light is different in the morning than in the afternoon, let alone the evening when you have to use the flash or different type of lighting. So it's just a lot of the different elements. So yeah, I offered those people to take pictures for free. They were very happy, and yeah, just gave me a bit of confidence. Took pictures for the sister. She was happy. And then the third wedding that I did, all along the way, I just realized I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. So the first wedding that I offered for free was just amazing, and the people were lovely, and I just didn't really feel like leaving. Then the sister's wedding, obviously it was family, so I had a lot of fun. I'm very introverted, so I think it's really nice. It was a very nice thing for me to do because I had something to do throughout the whole evening at her wedding, because I'm not a dancing type of person. I'm not the soul of the party. But I was there, like, walking around taking pictures, and I really enjoyed it. So I was in my zone. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then all the next weddings, they were paid gigs, but I really really enjoyed them. So that's how it started, really.
I can see why weddings would be stressful because you've only got the one shoot of it. You can't say, "Sorry, I got this wrong. Can we do this again?" um,
Well, it depends. It depends. I did that recently at a wedding. Recently it was in January, but it was guests, so it was during. So it depends on the type of situation because some people like post pictures when they stand next to one another and they just like stand like this, straight. And this was this type of wedding of a photo that I took with a couple, and then I said, "Okay, listen, I just screwed up the light. Can you just pose again?" And they really appreciated it. But it really depends. If you want like some sort of a candid type of photography, that's when it becomes stressful.
do you
So
get many of those candid requests where they just want just take them on the spot and that's it sort of thing?
yes, it's a bit of a balance, I think. But there's always a moment in which everyone just comes to you and asks for a photo. That wedding in January that I did, they hired this London red bus, the party bus. So everyone from the wedding wanted to take a photo next to that bus in different combinations with different guests, each photo with a different guest. So it was crazy. I was just standing there for like an hour taking pictures of all the different combinations. And that was really posed. But if you've got the moment where they say yes, or I don't know, they just like they throw the flowers, or yes, things like that, then it's more of being in the moment, and you just have to get it right. Otherwise, you just have to spend hours on editing and retouching.
In general, how long does it take you to edit a photo or the photos? Like portrait, wedding, anything like that?
All right, so it depends on how many photos I take. Depends on, because some weddings they just want you there to be there for like 3-4 hours. Some weddings are 10 hours. Then depending on the type of photo shoot, if I do a studio photo shoot, my shortest photo shoots are 30 minutes. They are the mini photo shoots. So then I've got 6 pictures for that, but then I can have 2 hours photo shoots or full day photo shoots in which I just get thousands of photos. So it really depends because you also you have that first selection process. So you go through all of the pictures and you see, some of them are just so similar and you just can't decide which one to go for. Is it the one that she looked a tiny bit to the left or a tiny bit more to the left? So it's like you don't know. And then I just sit there and stare. But also, it's very important, I've noticed, that I give myself time since the wedding. Or any type of photo shoot after the wedding or any photo shoot, I just need to give myself some time to kind of cool down and look at the pictures with a fresh eye. So my wedding contract states that it will take me up to 2 months to return the photos.
Wow.
But it never takes me longer. So far, it's never taken me longer than probably 2 weeks.
Do you give yourself the 2 months as just a buffer, really? So worst case scenario, you have.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Yes. So that's in case, if I have a lot of bookings and in a month, and then I just don't have the time to do it because I keep taking pictures, then sooner or later in those 2 months, I will have that week to retouch. But this is just some sort of a security net for me. And couples never argue because I don't even know how much time other photographers take. I'm probably not popular for returning my photos very soon. However, I just really want to make sure that it's the quality that I want. So basically, I'll give myself a few days. I'll select the photos, then I'll give myself a few days, and then I'll just start editing. And when I edit, I'll leave a couple of days again, get back to it, edit again, get back to it. So because sometimes you edit, I just what I don't want to do, and it happened to me in the past when I have a photo shoot, I'm so excited about the pictures that I want to see them straight away. Sometimes I just run back home and I already like put them on my laptop and I just put them on the software and I'm just, oh my god, I need to edit them. The following day I look at them, I'm like, oh my god, this is disgusting. What's this photo about? I absolutely hate it. So yeah, so that's why I give myself extra time, because I want also, you've got some photos that only require changing little things like contrast, a bit of color, a bit of removing something in the background. But there are some photos that in order for me to be satisfactory, I need to work on them a bit longer. So, and I won't send you a half of the gallery in the first week and then make you wait for longer. I can send you sneak peeks for of 5-6 photos, but I won't send you like 10 pictures every week, because what I want to do, and I know that a lot of my clients said that they have done it, they just all sit together as a family and then they just watch these pictures, they look at them and then they just so yeah, I just want it to be a bit of a moment as well for them.
I can imagine someone requesting you to put on like a PowerPoint, and that's how they watch it. It's like, all right, this one, this one, this one.
No, actually, no, because I use quite a nice website where I post the photos. It's a nice gallery, so then they can just like watch it straight through there. So
What is the
so that's
website?
Pixie Set.
So, how did you? Because you still do weddings. How did you transition to portraits?
I kind of started at the same time. So I started the business not too long ago because it was in October that I actually registered it. When I started taking money for the photography, and that was the time when I already started doing weddings. But the portraits, obviously, the ones that I did before, I in general started with portraits. When you look back at the friends, I did publish some covers in Poland. So as a teenager, so it was the first thing that I did, portraits. But this was all friends. But when I started doing portraits of actual clients, that was in probably October as well, when I registered. So not too long ago either, but it's just like it's all the official timeline, because I have been doing pictures before as well. So I did start with the portraits and then I moved on to weddings, and now I'm just, so basically weddings are something that I consider to be my bigger source of income. However, portraits are something that I consider a bit of a challenge, because every portrait is different. Every request is different. You've got women wanting an actual feminine photo shoot with boudoir, lingerie, and all that. Obviously, I can't post a lot of these pictures because I promised them that I won't, and they wish for it to be private. But then I have couples photo shoots, engagement photo shoots, or people just having friends photo shoots, in a cute studio. So it's always, you have to put yourself in a different kind of role. So that's something that I find quite challenging, and I quite like it actually.
Talk me through how a typical photo shoot or portrait shoot would play out. So when they approach you for the photo shoot, how does that play out? Do they just come to you and say, "Hey, I like a photo shoot. Okay, here's some dates," and you get on with it, or is it a bit more complicated and takes a lot more steps to get what they want? Because it's ultimately for them at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, it's obviously the whole process of a photo shoot starts, as you said, before the photo shoot. So most of it takes place before, because we need to plan the shoot. So when someone approaches me saying, "Okay, do you do this type of photo shoots?" Let's say a couple's photo shoot, then my first question is, okay, but what do you want to get out of it? Is there any reason why you want to take a picture? Because it can be an engagement, it can be an anniversary, it can be a surprise for your girlfriend, for your boyfriend. So I just need to know a bit of the context. Then obviously, you know, a lot of chit chat. I talk to people a lot, so a bit of chit chat, but it always helps because it makes them feel more comfortable, and it always helps me get to know them a bit better. And that helps with the whole process. Then what we do, I always ask them, you know, why don't you check out Pinterest boards and look at the type of photos that you like, because there is so much stuff out there, and obviously I've got my different style, but it really helps me see what they expect, because what I would hate the most is sending them the photos that I'm so proud of and then being like, oh, you know, actually, no, I don't really like them. That would be the worst nightmare, because, you know, at the end of the day, they are the clients, and I really want to make sure that this is my creative process, but I want to make sure that they are happy with it, right? So it's just finding that middle between me being creative and being my own photographer, and at the same time them being happy and getting what they asked and paid for, right? So yeah, so there's a lot of conversation around that. How much time do you want to spend? The mini photo shoots are quite popular because it's only half an hour. If they want a makeup artist, if they want a hairdresser on site, if they want me to help with the outfit choice, because some of them are very happy with the outfit, some of them need some help. So it's just really kind of individual approach here. Then we choose the studio. So I've got a little booklet that I've made with different types of studios, with different photos and the price range. So starting the first studio on the first page basically is the cheapest studio, and then moving on to the more expensive ones. And then we just try to plan what kind of props we want. So, you know, if, for example, we've got a mother and a child photo shoot, is there anything that you've got in common that you like doing together, you know, like baking or something like that? So, yeah, lots of ideas.
Two questions. Have there ever been a photo shoot that you can't do, that you couldn't do for logistical reasons, but you wanted to do? And without mentioning the name of your client, if you can answer this, have you ever had one which is a little unusual compared to the others, or there's like a unique story behind it? So say they wanted something from like a Victorian era themed one compared to some of the others. Have you had anything like that?
So answering the second question first, I don't think I attract this type of clients because of the type of photos that I take. I don't really do many themed photos, or I haven't done any really. You know, it's just more, I like to keep it simple, feminine, and kind of clean aesthetics. So I've never had any request when it comes to that. I do have so I don't really work with models unless it's to build my portfolio. I like to build my portfolio, and this is when I work with an actual model, it's for me to challenge myself, to push my boundaries, to keep practicing what I have just learned, right? Because there's so much in photography that you can still learn, that even the most experienced photographers, they keep learning new things, new ways of taking photos, new ways of setting the light. So this is the time for me to practice. But what I like to do is actually taking pictures of people who have never had a photo shoot. Because my whole aim is to, especially with the feminine photo shoots, is to make women find their beauty that they have forgotten about. So going back to when I started doing photography, when I was in secondary school, I had quite a big problem with acne. And that's when I already learned a lot of Photoshop secrets, because I would take pictures of myself, you know, with nice makeup and outfit and this and that. Not feminine, I was like 12, right? But something nice and cute. And then I would just edit it really nicely. And then I would look at the picture and like, okay, so I'm not defined by my acne, you know, I'm not defined by that. and everything. Obviously, I know there is a bit of manipulation, but if it makes me feel better, if it doesn't hurt anyone, what's the issue with that? I'm not showing a complete different person. You know, I'm not adding a different nose to my face. I'm not changing the color of my eyes. I'm still myself, just without something that really makes me feel bad about myself. And this is, I remember how I felt thanks to that. And this is something that I continue to try to do with women, just offering them photo shoots as a new way. Obviously, when I say as a new way of therapy, I joke, if you need therapy, go have therapy, yes, because this is more important than having a photo shoot. But this is, photography is a new beautician appointment. You know, some women go have their nails done, but what is going to stay is that photo that you take of yourself and you look back at in 10, 20 years and you'll be like, okay, I maybe I was underestimating myself. So that's why I get a lot of women who are really shy, a lot of women who, you know, when they try to, when they have photo shoot in their lingerie, they try to hide it a bit and stuff. You know, they just like they are not used to showing so much, right? But this is just the best type of photo shoot, because after I've sent them the pictures, they're like, oh my god, this is just out, this is unreal, this is out of this world, and makes them really happy. Because, you know, if you have an actual professional model, they know what they look like, they know how to pose properly, and they know that they look amazing, right? But I want women who don't know, who don't see that, who look in the mirror and they say, all right, I look ugly, I'm ugly, but they actually not, you know? So yeah, I hope I answered your questions. I think I just, yeah, I went on and on.
No, by all means. Why do you think well, you mentioned about the shy type of person. Do you get any confident women that come to you, or is it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay. But what would you say
yes.
the ratio is? Would you say it's even, or it's more shy than confident, or the inverse?
Oh, that's a good question. I do have some clients who try to build their model portfolio as well, but that's very often they're at the beginning of their career, they're just hoping to start their career. So they are still not really experienced, right? So I think mostly I get people who actually don't really know what to do, who want a nice picture, but they have never had a photo shoot, or they had the photo shoot. I had this lovely couple, and they said that they had done a photo shoot before with someone else, and they were quite unhappy with the photos, so they came to me, but they were a bit, you know, they had a bit of trust issues with any photographer that they would go to. So then, you know, it's like that element of helping them pose in a way that they would like to pose and they would like to see themselves in the photos. But yeah, I definitely do get more people who are still a bit camera shy, who don't know what to do with themselves, because the moment that camera points at you, you just freeze. Because I keep saying in my photo shoots, I'm like, that's the reason why I'm on the other side, because, you know, I can tell you how to pose, but if I try to use the same pose, I'll just feel ridiculous. But it actually looks good in pictures, so I'd rather be the one taking the pictures.
Do you think it's a sort of comfort that it's a woman who's taking a photo? Because as you were saying that, I was thinking, if I was behind the camera as a guy and these women are obviously going to be quite shy, they might feel intimidated. Do you think it's that, I want to say neutral ground, sort of, or that familiarity that eases them?
I think that there is something to the fact that being a woman, it makes it easier for me to attract female clients. However, there are fantastic male photographers that I just keep reaching out to and DMing them and being annoying, because I'm asking them constantly, how did you take that photo? How did you edit it? Please tell me. Honestly, the most famous photographers, they already probably hate my name. They see my DM, they're like, this one again. But you know, this is how I learn. But there are fantastic male photographers who do proper, very brave type of photo shoots for women, and those women don't care, because the quality and the type of photos, the beauty of these photos speaks for the photographers. So, you know, if a male photographer is amazing, the clients will go regardless of whether they're male or female. However, I still do think that there is an element of more trust. You know, if, as I said before, I have a lot of clients who have never posed before, who had never had a photo shoot before, and then they just decide to, I don't know, they've just broken up with someone, or they are treating themselves to a nice photo shoot for their birthday, or celebrating something with a photo shoot of only them in lingerie, just wearing a bra, and or just not even wearing a bra and just covering themselves, like, you know, in a nice feminine way with just like a bit of a blanket or something. Obviously, if they had never had a photo shoot before, they will come to a woman because, you know, there is an element of I don't know, more confidence or something.
Yeah, I guess in that point it'd be the person's character, not just the gender that gets.
Maybe. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. That's why I don't want to sound too harsh on men, because, you know, there are men that are great photographers. But I think I don't know, from my experience, I did have a photo shoot once, because that was before I started taking pictures, but I knew that I was going to start taking pictures, but as in like as an actual freelance job. And I think that was a female photographer, and she was so chatty, and we could talk about all things beauty, jewelry, fashion, and all that. Then it really made me feel comfortable. But obviously, I can't judge people by their gender. You know, you have different personalities. I think it's just my experience, really.
What are some of the red flags in your clients or when people come to you which make you go, that's not.
That's a good question. That's a good question. So I have people who, as I said, a lot of my clients have never had a photo shoot done before. And I think there is something to feeling so special in a photo shoot. And, you know, the studios that I collaborate with, they are beautiful studios, and something that you don't really have access to just, you know, walking from the street. You have to book it, you have to collaborate with these studios. And I think that some people, maybe they just get a bit too excited about it, and they become a bit of tourists. So I had this family once I was doing a family photo shoot, and they were lovely, but they came in 15 minutes late, and that was a 30-minute photo shoot. So they came in 15 minutes late with a suitcase, and as they arrived, they just started changing into whatever they had in their suitcase. And then I was like, okay, but you know that I do have a client after, and I need the studio back in 15 minutes. So I would really need to take the pictures very fast. I can take pictures in 15 minutes, but the problem is that they had two choices of outfit, and they wanted to have both. So what happened was that they changed. We took the photos, then they changed the outfit, or was it in the first outfit that we really didn't have the time, we were already running over. And then the lady, she did not put her shoes on, but it was because I didn't see what she was doing. And I said, okay guys, we've got literally 1 minute until the studio, I need the studio back, so let's just get ready for this photo, let's just get ready. And then I didn't know that she was in the middle of putting her shoes on, so she just dropped them, and then she ran to the place where I asked them to be. And then I remember when I sent her the pictures, she's like, would have been nice with some shoes on. And then I said, all right, amazing, but you had the time to put new earrings on, as you know, different to what you did before, but it's fine. I think priorities. But yeah, she's like, oh yeah, this and that and this and that. And I'm like, all right. And then she, at the end of that shoot, obviously we were 5 minutes late, I think, but my next clients did not arrive. So basically the studio was free, and they could feel it, that I was a bit more relaxed. And then what they said was like, okay, they just asked me if they could take some pictures of their kids with their phones. And I'm like, I have just done a photo shoot for you with my camera that took basically all my savings with all the lens and everything. But yeah, sure, go on, take pictures. And then because they were like, the shoot was on Sunday, I think, and the child's birthday was on Wednesday, and they were like, oh yeah, because you're not going to be able to send us the pictures until Wednesday, and we want a nice photo shoot for Wednesday because it was his birthday. I'm like, okay, I don't think he cared much. He was like 2 years old, but I'm like, okay, just do it. It's fine. If it makes you happy, it's cool. And the manager was there, the studio manager. He said that he was happy with that, so that's great. But then, as they left, they literally left, and then they came back in asking if they could take more pictures. It's like I couldn't get rid of them. And then after, when they left, they took longer than an actual half an hour photo shoot that they had paid for. So they were there for about 45, 50 minutes. Obviously, in the middle, there was somewhere in the middle when I was just trying to rush them a bit, when I still thought that my clients were coming, they were just like acting a bit, like I wasn't there. So it's like, oh yeah, she's not even letting us take extra pictures, the clients are not even there, and this and that, so I found that quite rude. And then after, I sent her the pictures after, and there was that whole shoes conversation, right? And then she went, would have been nice if we had more time to do it. And I'm like, okay, you were late 15 minutes, but I didn't want to get into an argument. And I said, oh no, girl, how can that happen? I'm so sorry that it happened to you. I said, guess what? I had another photo shoot after this studio in another studio, and I was late, and I also didn't eat on my way, and I had scheduled some time to eat in between, but I didn't eat because you guys were late, and I was on an empty stomach until 4 o'clock. I'm like, oh, you see, and then I said, we were so unlucky that day. I can't believe, like you didn't get your pictures and I didn't get my lunch. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to your level, because like the entitlement here, and I think that was just only once that I had. Oh no, I had another client. This is a quick story. So this client.
Keep them coming. I'm loving this.
You got me started. That's it. You got me started. So I had this one client, yeah, and she signed the contract and everything. My mistake then was that usually I trust the clients, they want nice pictures. I trust them. They, like it's a 30-minute photo shoot. They shouldn't look for ways to just, to get some extra stuff or just like to be a bit cheeky. This woman, I sent her a contract to sign. She signed it, sent it back to me. And my contract states that the photos will be used for my promotional advertisement, whatever purposes, right? So what happened was that I sent her the pictures after the photo shoot. I sent her the pictures all edited. She was happy. And I made all the changes that she asked me to, because I'm also happy with people asking me to make changes to whatever lights, colors, whatever. But then I posted the pictures on Facebook, and she went straight saying, I did not allow you to post the pictures, to publish them, and I would like them to be taken down. And I'm like, where did you say? Because if you sign the contract and you tell me, oh, by the way, could you not post the pictures? Obviously, I'm not going to post the pictures. Or I will ask you, I really like this picture. Is that okay if I post it? But if you say no, you say no. I'm not going to be, that rude. So, to say the least. So, yeah, so then I was like, where did you say it? And then she's like, oh no, I just deleted the section from the contract and sent it back to you. But I'm like, you were being so cheeky. I didn't say that to her, but I was thinking to myself, you were being so cheeky to delete that part, send the signed contract to me as if nothing happened, and just stay quiet about it. But hey.
Could you not take legal action against her because of that, or was that a bit...
Wasn't worth it, to be honest.
No, I can imagine how stuff like that is a nightmare. Are those kind of like once in a blue moon, or are they a bit too frequent for your liking?
No, they're once in a blue moon. I usually get really cool people. I did have a model once who said that she was an actual model, and that was when I did a boudoir photo shoot. So all lingerie, very nice and sexy. And then she actually asked me not to publish them because she doesn't feel confident. I'm like, but you were a model. And she said, no, actually, maybe not. She just wanted to have some photographers around her, in a professional studio. There was massive photographers that work there, but these were only 3 instances. All the other people that I worked with, amazing, lovely people. Some of them I hope I'll be seeing again for especially studio photo shoots. So yeah, amazing people. It's just actually it's because I'm very, as I said before, I'm very introverted. I feel like this is a bit of my alter ego that goes to photo shoots, because I can't shut up when I'm in a photo shoot. I can't stop talking. I'm so bubbly, and then I'm like, who am I? Who am I that I just keep talking? But it's just, I feel like I like my version, my photographer Dom, and I also get to know people in a different setting, not like in a workplace full-time job where you just don't feel like talking to people every day because you see the same faces every day, not in like in a traffic where we shout at each other. This is a nice and relaxed atmosphere. I play the music, we take some nice pictures, we have a chit chat about the weather or makeup or dresses, and yeah, I just really enjoy that. So mostly people are lovely.
Does photography force you to be extroverted?
I think it does a bit. Definitely weddings do. Yes, they definitely do, because if I was really quiet, I would probably not have taken the pictures that I did. And it definitely does. Yes.
What would you say to someone who's just starting out in photography?
All right, this is a good one. So obviously having an equipment, but it's actually interesting because I didn't know until like a year ago when I started thinking of wedding photography that there are places in London where you can actually hire equipment not for that expensive. It's from other photographers. So let's say if you have a photographer who doesn't need the equipment for a specific day when you need it, you can rent that equipment. So I did collaborate with many photographers because before I got my lens are usually very expensive. So there's that. So there is an app called Fat Llama. Yes, I know it's a bit weird, but I loved it. I spent so much money with it, but it's obviously equipment is expensive. It's cheaper if you buy it with your own money and then you just make profit with it. But sometimes it's just cheaper to rent the equipment. Let's say if you want to buy a lens that costs 1,000 or 2,000 pounds, and then you don't know if you actually need it. And this has happened to me many times when I just rent a lens from someone. I rented a lens from someone, and then I was like, actually, you know what, this lens is amazing, but I don't actually really need it. So yeah, sorry, I think it's my partner coming back. Right, let me just move to another room. Yeah, so the Fat Llama thing is great for getting all the equipment that you need. And what else? I think it's just trying and experimenting and trying to learn new things. So, for example, I have some books actually. So I haven't read this, but I've flicked through it, and it's really good. I've got a Vogue with Stormzy to get inspired here. I've got a lot of different things, There's this book called Read This If You Want to Take Great Photographs of People.
Who's it by?
Yeah. Henry Garrow, okay. It says. So I think it's just getting inspired, looking at different types of photos, and trying to find your style. And I think finding your style is something that everyone is still kind of looking for it, because you never, the moment you reach the point in which you say, I've got my style, I know my pictures 100%, becomes a bit boring. So I think it's nice to just keep looking for your style, keep evolving, to keep looking for different ways and just keep learning. But also there are different workshops. So there's this great studio in North London. It's called FAV, F-A-V studio. It's like favorite FAV studio, and they do a lot of workshops. So they invite you in as a photographer, and they have lots of different photographers, lots of different models. They help you with the light, they help you with everything, and it's great for people who are just beginning to learn how to work with models and how to pose them, and you've got a lot of support there, which is really, really nice. And just practicing.
Would you recommend people start with their phone cameras? Because since everyone's got a phone these days, it seems to me like it would be better to start with that because you're not having to rent a camera, and if something goes wrong with said camera, you're not liable.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Taking pictures with a phone is a good way to see the light, seeing, like, for example, here you've got the light behind me and it kind of falls on my head. But if I turned this light on, then you've got the light in my face. So just like, trying different lights, so that's really good. But having shot with a camera my whole life, really, I would say that there are massive limitations to it, because you obviously, with the new cameras you've got, with the new iPhones or other phones, probably all of the cameras are really good because you can change the focus a bit, you can change all the aperture and everything. Well, hopefully, I don't really use my phone settings that much, I just take a photo and that's it. But if you want to get into photography, then I think, yes, using your phone for some time, but it's not going to teach you that much, apart from the lights, apart from maybe posing a model, because you've got influencers out there who just take pictures with their phones, and they're really good pictures, and they get thousands and thousands of pounds for one post taken with a phone. So I guess it just depends on really what you're looking for, because you can take a good picture, but it wouldn't be a good quality image. You can take a good photo in terms of posing with your phone, but you won't get the good quality that you're looking for. You won't be able to manipulate it that much as well.
Yeah, I suppose the other thing with a phone compared to a camera, well, a professional camera, is you don't have to worry so much about the focus on the lens. You don't have to worry about the aperture, the ISO, and all that. What do you think about AI and photography?
Oh yeah, I've been experimenting with it a bit. It's interesting, but it's a bit scary. So I had this client who was an influencer, and she still is an influencer, and she was trying to go for this sexy type of PR photo shoot. So she would wear blazer with nothing underneath. But then, so it looks good, yes, but then we didn't notice that when she leaned forward, you could see a bit too much. So then I was like, oh, I really like this photo. And she said, I really like this photo as well. So let's just try to do something about it. So that's when I experimented with AI for the first time. And I just selected that area and I was like, add white top or add white shirt. And the first time was perfect already. I didn't have to do anything. It saved me so much work. It was amazing. But it also, we don't want, it's photography. We don't want to get into graphic design, which is already amazing, but it's a different field. So it really depends. Using AI as a help for your photography is amazing, but let's not try to recreate the reality either.
Because that's what I'm seeing quite a bit. There was I think this guy was a filmmaker, or maybe about both, but he did like a photo shoot. He posted on YouTube like a short of what he did with his dad. Basically, got him to dress up as an astronaut, and then he used AI for like the background stuff. Do you think at that point you've crossed the line between photography to graphic design with AI, or would you still class something like that as photography enhanced by AI?
I was going to say graphic design, but then I'm thinking graphic designers would hate me for saying that because it probably takes them much longer to create something like that. So it's something that I don't really know how to answer, because it's not photography. It's a part of an image that has been taken by someone, but then you've got graphic design that hasn't been designed. It has been generated by artificial intelligence. So maybe we just need a bit more of a vocabulary in this field to explain what that is. But yeah, artificially generated image. AGI. Maybe we could go in that direction.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were laws surrounding this stuff. There already talks about it can't really say what it's for, but there's already talks for it regarding some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say if you could see photography in the next like 5 years, like that kind of mentality? Where do you think it'll go? Do you think it'll stay the same? How do you see the industry evolving, or do you think it'll enter some sort of stagnation where it's still professional, still good, but there won't be that innovation for it to where it really develops?
Well, when it comes to using AI in photography, I feel like it's going to really help with the workload and with the time that you would usually take to edit. So it would be really helpful with that top shared example that it took 5 seconds to generate it, and that was it. But obviously, we don't want it to be used for the wrong things. And also in photography, you want to recreate the reality and you want to tell a story. So this is a massive thing, telling a story. Even if it's just a feminine photo shoot, you want to make it still real. As I said before, with the makeup, the acne, no acne thing, you don't want to change everything. And now we are going to start creating humans that don't look like humans, that this can also have a massive impact on the way people feel about themselves, right? So I really hope it doesn't go in that direction. It is helpful. It's if you use it to add some lights to a Christmas tree, it's amazing. If you use it to help your image a bit, to make it pop, it's great. But I feel like, as you said, there has to be more legislations in terms of photography and the use of AI in photography. Maybe like nowadays on Instagram, when you use a filter, it shows up there that you actually use the filter. Maybe it should have something else, something similar to the AI saying, okay, this image has been generated. It's not 100% taken with your phone. However, if you did that, you would have to do the same for Photoshop, right? Because Photoshop changes the pictures in a way. So there's a bit of a room for conversation here.
Yeah, I suppose in a way, Photoshop before AI came out was like prototype AI, for the lack of a better term,
Mm-hmm.
because you could
Yeah.
just take the background and completely remove it or replace it with something else. I guess I hadn't considered it like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think if it helps a photographer, if it helps you do the job that you would otherwise spend hours on in 10 minutes, and it's still the same quality and it's the same outcome that you wanted, then it's great. But if it changes the image completely, and I did play around with AI a bit, and it can completely change the picture. This is something that I think we should be wary of, because then whatever you see online, it just won't be real anymore, and we're already struggling with that a bit, as a society.
Yeah, because you get those influencers on Instagram or YouTube as well, or just anywhere, pick your platform, where they seem to have these extravagant lives. I won't say names, but they have these
Mhm.
extravagant lives, and then you look behind the scenes, and it is either rented stuff or they're covering
Mhm.
something up. What would you say if someone came to you looking for something like that, like they wanted to portray something they're not?
Well, it's a bit tricky, because if someone asked me for a photo shoot in a luxury car, in like a Porsche, I would be like, most definitely we can do that, because this is for the artistic purpose. Whatever they do with the photo is theirs, as in I still have the rights, so they can't sell it. But if they post the photo on their Instagram saying, I just got a new car, I can't do anything about it, right? Um, but for me, it's just the art thing that I'm focusing on. You want a photo shoot with a beautiful horse somewhere in the field, then I'm just going to do it. But it doesn't mean that we want to show the world that you just got a farm, you know. But that there is, you have to get props for photography. So even studio is a manipulation, right? Because you rent a beautiful studio where do a photo shoot, and you could easily make it look like it's your living room.
No, that's true. You mentioned horses. Have you ever done a photo shoot where someone's brought in like their cat?
No, but I would love to. I would love to do animals. I love it.
Which
Yeah,
animal would
that's
you
not.
prefer?
I'm sorry.
Which animal would you prefer?
Horses.
Oh, really?
There's Frisian horses, the black ones with like a bit frizzy hair. I don't know if you call it hair, but yes, black horses, love them. Frisians. Yeah, I would also love to do for weddings elopements or just type of photo shoots in the mountains. Just just the couple, nobody else. Just beautiful. So yeah, there's still lots to do.
Yeah, I used to have horses. Not me personally, but who I was living with has horses. Bit temperamental, those those things.
It depends on the breed. For the Frisian horses, apparently they are a bit cheeky, they're cute, they're forgiven, all of them.
If you had no limits, what would be your dream photo shoot that you would do for someone?
Well, now thinking of the horses, then I would go for that one. I got excited, but I think it would be an engagement photo shoot in Italy, in Lake Como,
Why Italy?
in a little boat. Lake Como.
Yeah,
Why
what-
Italy? I don't know. I find it beautiful, and Lake Como is just one of the most beautiful places in Europe, if not in the world. And I would really love to take pictures there because it's not really about. It's not. The place is beautiful, but it's not only that. It's also very classy, and it's got that aesthetic that you would want in a photo. So this is something I'd really love to do, or somewhere in Ireland, or in Wales, or in Snowdonia. Just the couple and all the greenery around. Beautiful. I'd love to do that.
Dominika, Dom, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you
having
so
you.
much. Thank you, Daniel. Dan.
I walked into that one.